All right, so for number 11, we want to make sure that we have a radical alone on one side. And then to undo the square root, we're going to square both sides. All right, the square root and the square are going to cancel each other out. And that's going to leave us with just 2x plus 6 over here. And then negative 8 squared, of course, would be 64. All right, so to get x by itself, let's subtract 6 from both sides. And then let's divide both sides by 2. So we'll get x equals 29. Now this we have to check for extraneous roots because remember when you multiply both sides by a variable, you run the risk of picking up an extraneous root. And when we squared this right here, it was like multiplying by another square root of 2x plus 6. So we multiplied by a variable but wasn't there originally. So if we take 29 and plug it back in, it's got to go back into the original equation. So we would have 2 times 29 plus 6 is going to be 64. The square root of 64 does not give us a negative 8. Alright, so 29 is the only solution we got, and it does not work. That means it's an extraneous root. So that means there is no solution to this problem. Alright, then for number 12, we have an absolute value equality. So first I need to get the absolute value by itself. So let's add this 2 to the other side and get it out of the way. Alright, then you're going to take what's inside your absolute value and set it equal to a positive and a negative of what's on the other side. So what's inside the absolute value equal to a positive and equal to a negative of what's on the other side. Alright, and then we can just solve this equation. So to get x by itself, let's subtract 4 and then divide both sides by 6. So 2 6 would give us 1/3 reduced down. Same thing here, let's add 4 to both sides. So, let's subtract 4 from both sides and then divide both sides by 6. So that would give us negative 10/6, which would simplify down to negative 5/3. Alright, then for number 13, if we have x plus 4 raised to the 3/2, we can raise that to its reciprocal. So if I take 3/2 and I flip it to get its reciprocal 2/3, I'm going to take 3/2 and raise it to its reciprocal. And the reason that we do that is when you have a power raised to a power, you multiply. So 3/2 times 2/3 is just going to give me 1. So that would be x plus 4 to the first. So that's the way that we can get rid of our exponent. Now, of course, what we do to one side, we do to the other side. So when we have 27 to the 2/3, remember that the numerator is your exponent and the denominator is your index. I do not want to take 27 and square it and then have to find a cube root of that. So remember you want to do the root first. So the cube root of 27, what number cubed is 27? That would be 3. So the cube root of 27 would just give us 3, and then we still have our square. So 3 squared would give us 9. So to get x by itself, let's subtract 4 from both sides, and we'll get x is equal to 5.